Hello, welcome to studentlearning.in, your e-learning buddy. Welcome back to our channel, guys. If you are new to this channel, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to join the family.
Today I am going to explain clustering in machine learning. So we know that machine learning is divided into two parts. First is supervised learning and second is unsupervised learning. Similarly, there is two main important techniques of machine learning. First one is classification and second one is clustering. Classification belongs to supervised learning and clustering belongs to unsupervised learning. So in terms of clustering or clustering analysis is a machine learning technique which groups the unlabeled dataset. Unlabeled dataset directly belongs to unsupervised learning. So it can be defined as a way of grouping the data points. Data points means your column into different clusters consisting of similar data points. So the object with the possible similarities remain in a group that has less or no similarity with another group. This is the proper definition of clustering, or we can say that clustering is somewhere similar to the classification algorithms. But the difference is the type of data set that we are using, right? So in classification we work with the labeled data set, that means classification belongs to supervised learning, whereas in clustering we work with the unlabeled data set. So there is a similar difference between classification and clustering. Clustering belongs to unsupervised learning, that means it's always work on unlabeled data set, and classification is working on supervised learning, because supervised learning is work on labeled data set. So in terms of example, it's a very common example. When we visiting any shopping malls, we observe that the things with similar uses are grouped together, such as t-shirt, such as trouser, such as shirts are different sections. Similarly, in a vegetable section, we have different apples, different bananas, different mangoes. So there are a lot of sections are grouped in a separate section so that we can easily find out the things. This is the best example of clustering. So we can see in this diagram there are three clusters of fruits. That means it's a different group, that means it belongs to apples, strawberries and pears. So with the help of clustering, we can divide a separate group. First group belongs to apple, second group belongs to pears, and third group belongs to strawberry. So this is a clustering technique. With the help of clustering techniques, we can divide our huge data set, huge unlabeled data set into different sections or different groups. So clustering techniques can be widely used in various tasks, right? Market segmentation is a very important aspect in these days. Statistical data analysis means it's a visualization of data, statistical analysis of data, social network analysis because the time of social networking, image segmentation, and another is a very important that's called anomaly detections. So these are various tasks where clustering is very popular in these days. So in terms of clustering are basically divided into two parts. First one is called hard clustering and second one is called soft clustering. In case of hard clustering, data points belong to the one group, only one group, and soft clustering means data point can belong to another group also. That means there is a difference between hard clustering and soft clustering. Hard clustering belongs to one group and soft clustering maybe belongs to another group. So there are a lot of clustering techniques available in the market. These are like partitioning clustering, density based clustering, distribution model based clustering, hierarchical clustering and fuzzy clustering. So first one, I am going to explain partitioning clustering. So it's a very popular technique in these days. So it's a type of clustering that divides the data into non-hierarchical groups. That means suppose we have a lot of data. So with the help of these techniques, we can divide our data into non-hierarchical groups. So it is also known as centroid based method. So the most common example of partitioning clustering is k-means. K-means is an algorithm of clustering. So suppose the value of k is 3, that means we have 3 clusters. So suppose the value of k is equal to 4, that means we have 4 clusters. So in these diagrams, we have 4 clusters, that means the value of k is 4. So in this diagrams, there is a 4 colors that belongs to different clustering, that is called partitioning clustering. So second, that is very important aspect of clustering, that is called density based clustering. So density based clustering method connect the high dense area into clusters. High dense area means the algorithm does it by identifying different cluster in that data set and connect the area of high density into that cluster, and the dense area in data space are divided from each other by cursor areas. So in this diagram, you can see this diagram is totally belongs to density based clustering. That means we have 2 clusters, one cluster belong to red color, second cluster are belong to green color, and these are not connected. That means these 2 clusters are independent cluster. That's why this type of technique is called density based clusters. Or you can see the shape is also depend on the density of your data set, right? And third one is called distribution model based clustering. So in this technique, the data is divided based on the probability. Probability means how a data set belongs to a particular distribution. So grouping is done by assuming similar distribution commonly used. It's a very common and popular technique that is called Gaussian distributions. So the example of this type is the expectation maximization clustering algorithm that use Gaussian mixture model, that is also known as GMM. So you can see its diagrams. There are 3 different clusters, and these clusters are based on GMM. That's why it is called distribution model based clustering. Next clustering is a very popular clustering that is called hierarchical clustering. So hierarchical clusterings can be used an alternative for the partition clusterings. But there is a difference. Difference means as there is no requirement of pre-specified cluster to be created. So in this technique, the data set is divided into cluster to create a tree-like structure, which is also called a dendrograms. That means with the help of this technique, we can create a tree-like structure that is not available on your previous technique, that means partition techniques. Or there is one more advantage of this clustering, that means the observation of any number of cluster can be selected by cutting the tree at the correct label. That means when we have collect the tree at the correct label, that means the number of observation of clusters can be selected. And the most common example of this method is called agglomerative hierarchical algorithms. You can see in the diagram. So this is a tree-like diagrams. That's why this type of clustering is called hierarchical clusterings. This is the last one clustering, that is again very popular field of computer science, that is called fuzzy clustering. So fuzzy clustering is a type of soft method in which a data object may belong to more than one group or cluster. That means suppose we have more than one group of data, that means we can refer fuzzy clustering. So in this case, each data set has a set of membership coefficients which depend on the degree of membership to be in a cluster. Or we can say that fuzzy C algorithm is an example of this type of clustering. It is sometimes also known as fuzzy key means algorithm. So this is all about definitions of clustering, methods of clustering, features of clustering.
Thank you so much for watching. Please leave your questions in the comment section down below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Student Learning. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, basically everywhere. The link is always in the description. We will be back with more lectures. Stay tuned and have a good day. Bye.